More music.
Hello, welcome to Mole Music, Episode 3, the podcast where three underground musicians dig around in the muck trying to make our way to the light in this industry. Gosh, what do? We want to make art, we want to make music, but we gotta pay the bills. Do they have to both be the same thing? Do we have to make art to pay the bills? Can we do it other ways? Am I capable of keeping a job even with the way that my brain is? I don't know, and that's the kind of thing we will never know. In the meantime, we're talking about one important thing about me today. I have a morning routine. It's called Ben Morning, and it's my morning routine, and Jessica and Hugo tried it, and we're going to find out if it worked for them to help them make progress on their projects. And I'm joined by Mole Justice Cow / Mole Jessica and Mole Hugo, which will be here. Yeah. And I'm happy to see you both. I'm really excited to hear what you thought of the morning routine. And I'll just describe the morning routine for our listeners. It's a very simple concept.
We had to do a lot of things. It was incredible. It was such a long list. I got like a text from you, and it was like 3 texts long, and oh my God.
Simple to me, complex to a lesser being, but all of my subjects suffer under my reign.
I skipped the peanut butter part, by the way, but...
Really? Okay. Well, you don't have a dog.
The peanut butter part's so helpful, though.
Yeah.
You liked it?
What is it? 20 milligrams of fluoxetine and a spoonful of peanut butter down your mouth, your dog's gullet. That's a good way to get the day off to a good start. Everyone relax. I sent a whole bunch of instructions, but for the sake of my reputation and not coming off as a toxic man, I'm going to describe this routine in a very simple, accessible way. Essentially, what I believe is that the first 2 hours that I am awake are the most focused, creative hours in my day. The reason I think this is first because whenever I start working, right as soon as I wake up on something, even if it's my taxes, I tend to just get in the zone really fast, and I get pretty far along. Like I do about 2 hours of work before I even realize, like, wait a second, my back is sore, or I'm hungry, or I'm thirsty, or I want to do something else, or I just kind of get lost, and that doesn't happen the rest of the day. The rest of the day I'll be sitting down working, and I'll just be checking my phone, I'll be hyping my diaper, just doing all the different weird things that I like to do when I'm procrastinating. But those first 2 hours of the day, it's magical. I have a theory that it's because you're still closer to your dream state. You're closer to this phase where maybe your inhibition is less, maybe your self-judgment is less, because you're just kind of this floppy, half asleep, well, probably like 1/10 asleep thing that's right. Charging up. And while you're charging up, you're able to like do these things and keep doing them, and then when you're all charged, you're like, wait a second, I'm supposed to have a life. So that's just my little theory. I've been doing this for a few years, and it definitely worked today when I did it, but it is not a good routine when you are very depressed. I think it's ideal for times of order when the hardest thing that you're worrying about is like a deadline or preventing procrastinating or like, some work goal, some ambition you have. But when the biggest problem is like someone died or you're going through a really hard time in some not artwork related way, then, it's really hard, way harder to wake up. In the first place, it's hard to get going. But hopefully, generally, this is a routine that is helpful, and I'm really curious to hear what it was like for all of you moles.
How long have you done it, Jess? Because I was traveling for a bit. We tend to keep 2 weeks between recording this, by the way. Very secret mole fact. But I had one week to do it.
Oh, mole.
Oh, shit. I had 1 week to do it. I did it for 1 week. I
not
liked
bad.
it,
That's really...
but maybe it's also, it's new. You do it for 1 week, it still feels fresh. Maybe at 2 weeks, it kind of already gets like, I want to have my breakfast. Or maybe I sleep in a little bit today. Or I don't know, something like that. How did you feel about this, Jess? Or did you also do it a week?
I also did it a week. Yeah.
Okay.
I did it the first week. And I really liked it. When I did it, I was like, oh, wow, this works very well. I just jumped into like the thing that usually takes me a really long time to get to. And I have a lot of stress around. And then like, it was just like a lot easier than it normally is to like get going. And yeah, I was like, dang, Ben morning has a definite like it's a thing I gotta put on my like tools, my list of tools, because
Right.
it was really cool. And then I got really sad and I was not able to continue, and then I felt bad every morning because I was not only not doing the Ben morning, but I was just feeling sad anyway. So
Right.
it was kind of like compounding. And then I was just thinking
That's
about,
rough.
wow, yeah, just like, oh man, I feel extra bad not getting out of bed, and I slept on the floor last night right over there. Cool.
But the sleeping on the floor part, it seemed like you were having a really good cuddle with Hineni, though. Like
It started
was worth
really
it.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not
That's
trying to
true.
diminish your suffering. I'm just saying, like, don't feel bad that you fell asleep on the floor. Like, that's not a sign you're unhinged. That's just what happens with this dog. He's so
Because
cool.
you just want to cuddle him.
You just want to cuddle him.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying about it being like a double ouch. Like, not only am I
That makes a
waking
lot
up
of sense.
late, not only do I feel like shit, I didn't do the Ben morning I was supposed to do.
And I know it helps.
Ain't that the
and-
curse
yeah.
of routines, though? Isn't that the
Yeah.
curse of expectations?
True.
Yeah.
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 We don't fit in a box. You know how people think there's like outside of the box people and inside the box people? No one fits in the box. Some people, the system is compatible with them, but they are still not just fitting in. They're just like they're like managing to not get harmed. I'm thinking of, for
Right.
instance, my dad. He did really well with like grades, like having grades in school and tests. That worked for his brain. He's good at it. But he suffers the same consequence we all suffer of being put in the box.
Yeah.
There's no structure. There's no routine that we can just stick to forever. Shit. I slept in a bunch of times, and I'm Ben from Ben Morning.
What was it like for you, Hugo?
Similar,
Hugo. Sorry.
similar to you, Mole Jessica. Yeah, I had a really good start with it, but I started feeling guilty because it replaced yoga, which I've been doing since the start of the year, as my morning routine. So eventually I adapted it a little bit, and I did the yoga first and then the thing, which still worked. But I do wonder, like, how long can I keep this up until like the morning grumpiness is kind of like, I don't really feel like it today, But so far it's been really good. Every morning I've been doing the thing. I've opened up the push like I said I would last time, and I've made a beat with it and get practice in, get more comfortable using it. And it's been great, really. Yeah. But it led to skipped breakfasts often eventually because, yeah, you get into the flow and time passes and I was like, oh, it's the afternoon already. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's never happened before.
I almost never eat breakfast. Now
I
I'm
can
not
see why
saying,
now.
yeah, I'm not saying people shouldn't eat breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't. I don't know if you need breakfast to be at a certain time. I know you're supposed to have like more calories earlier or something.
Yeah, I've read that like in your day you're supposed to eat the most in the morning, then less at lunch, and then the least at dinner is like
Really?
the optimal way for energy and for like burning the calories that you eat and stuff and using them in the day. But that is not how like food is set up in the world.
I was gonna say, I feel like
dinner is like the richest meal, and
culturally here it's like quite the opposite. I feel like breakfast is fairly light, and you move towards more heavy meals as you go through the day.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably lunch is the lightest. If you're talking overall over here, because sometimes we got those real stanky breakfasts that's got the fried
Our
egg
breakfasts
and
are an
everything,
act of terrorism.
Not
like the
ours,
syrupy
but
pancakes
ours.
and
it's just you have these children, they grow up eating, like the sugar cereal with the milk and the eggs and the pancakes and the syrup and the bacon and all this stuff that makes you so tired, and you're already not supposed to be like up that early if you're like in high school or and they eat all this stuff that's like gonna weigh them down, and then they can't stay awake in their classes, and they've stuck in school and just off to a bad start every day. The sleep deprivation and then the overly insane breakfast. But yeah, you're saying though, have all those calories in the morning, and I could see why intuitively would be like, no, don't do that, because then you'll be tired all day. But maybe it's not just more calories, but it's like, what are those calories coming from? Are they coming from grains and beans? Are they coming from a quinoa? Are they coming from an oat?
Yeah, they come from a bunch of fruits. Yeah.
That's fair. And then, of course, there's also like the intermittent fasting thing where people probably
like
don't breakfast at all. They start eating at 2 p.m. or something. Yeah,
and I've heard that I've heard a couple of things like I mean we could go down this road forever.
Oh yeah, we're doing that thing that podcasts do where we're here to talk about music, and then we like go out of our expertise. But I guess it's relevant to this whole like one of the trade-offs of the Ben morning is no breakfast, and then the question has to be like,
or later breakfast.
Do we need later breakfast? Do we need breakfast to be between 8 and 10?
Yeah, I have to say, like when I was doing the Ben morning thing, I was experiencing like way more hunger than normal for breakfast, because I was like, I've already like done stuff now. My brain's been working, and I found that to be really satisfying, like a lot more than hiking.
Our special guest. Hey.
Danny the doggy is here. He's sitting down behind the bench. Go on, Jessica. Go on.
Always the highlight of the
on
show.
On the edge of our seats to hear.
I feel like normally I just eat breakfast because it's the morning and it's like a thing to do before doing the things. And so it was like, I found Ben morning plus breakfast after like 2 hours of work to be like, I worked, I did a good job, and now I'm so hungry and I want to eat something great. And it just felt like really good.
Yeah, that's a much different feeling than feeling like you're waking up in debt, which is, I think, something I felt for most of my life that I've worked hard to change. And I don't think this is fair to myself, but it's the case where every day I wake up feeling behind. I think a lot of people feel that way. Like you are always letting yourself down unless you push, unless you go further, unless you go harder today.
Do you think that led you to this routine?
I think it led me to pretty much everything in my life. It's probably the single biggest influence on all of my, like, the way I am, because it's an anxiety fuel, it's a productivity fuel, it's a relationship bottleneck. Basically, there are, like, so many people I couldn't be with who would potentially be, like, good fits. Like everybody, I think there's like many people that you could find true love with in the world, and you're lucky when you do, but it's like all these people who could have potentially been good get ruled out because for the longest time I couldn't imagine prioritizing a relationship over my art or my work, because when I wasn't working I was in like a state of like anxious, like obsession of like, when am I getting back to it? Oh my God, we're going to a movie. When am I getting back to it? When am I getting back to it? And so like Jessica is like the first and last person I ever dated who, I mean, we were in the same band together, which helped, but like,
right, yeah.
we had this while I was working through all that stuff and continue to work through that stuff. Conveniently, I'm with this person who's also already independently driven to do a bunch of stuff and can be involved in my work obsessions. And
yeah, and I also find it helpful that like when Ben's working on a video or music and is like, can you sing on this? Like, I usually am like, hell yeah, I love to like be a part of your art and like learn
That's so
this
cool.
real quick. And it's we have really good flow like in that way, and also in like we help edit each other and we like produce each other. We'll like,
that's true.
I'll be like, Ben, listen to this, give me notes, and then he'll give me notes, and then I'll be like, Ben, listen to this, I fixed it, what do you think? And he'll give me more notes.
And I definitely rely on Jessica to give me a lot of feedback on a lot of things and help me a lot. So
I feel that's probably also a
is
big part
good.
of your routine, just having each other to have that kind of feedback off of each other and, you know, motivating each other to do the art stuff.
Yeah, and I also try really hard to always say yes when Ben is like, can I show you the thing I'm working on? Because I know what that feels like on the other side. And even if I'm like, I really only say no, and I just am like, I am late for work, I cannot, I'm sorry, I will watch it when I get home.
Yeah.
So do you do your routine every day? Or is it like now on
yeah.
Monday to Friday kind of thing?
Now it's Monday to Friday, because on the weekends I let myself do anything else.
Yay!
But
Ben's got weekends.
I still work really hard on the weekends, usually just for other people. So it's
or
kind
yourself,
of fun.
right? Or
Yeah.
like the not as algorithm friendly projects.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is my show and tell for today. We'll get to that later. Trust me, audience, you're going to like this show and tell coming later. You better stay to the end and click link in some scam.
Very nice.
Now, the weekends, the thing is, though, that I like to just wake up and do stuff. So it'll like be playing piano or playing guitar or singing or cuddling happens more on the weekends, I think. I don't know if it does, but we have our doggy now sleeping closer to our heads than ever.
Oh my gosh. A couple times he's like head on the pillow like right between us. It's so cute.
He was
like a little
sleeping
guy.
at our legs for so long, and now the head.
I think it's about to be over because summer. He gets too hot.
He gets really hot. He doesn't like to go in the bed.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so okay, you would say basically the routine was productive, but
was
like
good.
I would imagine most routines are, they're not really for every day.
Well, something that's really nice that I noticed with this also is that it put me into a state of, or a frame of mind. What's the correct word to use here? For later throughout the day to go back to music as well. So even if I would be interrupted or had to teach or something, it would be easier to get back to creative tasks later. Other than doing a bunch of other shit like first thing in the morning and then trying to get into a creative music space.
Yep. It's hard. I feel like I sometimes have very strong like mindsets that are like, oh, this is a cleaning, answering email mindset, or like, oh, this is a like, I'm ready to like unleash the songs that are within me mindset. And I feel like they're really different feelings.
Yeah.
And if you are in one, and you can like, I feel like you can kind of like stoke either one out of like every day is kind of blank and it like depends on what you do. But I feel like when you are going down one path, it's really hard to turn into the other.
For sure.
You're just like, ugh, no, that's not where I'm at. You know?
Yeah. And so, like I said, at the start of the year, it was very yoga focused for me. But I came off of like telling myself I had to do like daily walks, for example. And so it became this one thing on top of another. And so the first half of the day was just like, okay, let's do healthy stuff. Let's go out for a bit. And then in the afternoon, I'd get to the studio to work, and I'd already done a whole bunch of shit. And, you know,
Yep.
like you say,
And
it's
maybe you're
tough.
tired from
You're getting a
all
bit
your,
tired.
all your will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being outside in the sun makes me tired.
That's fair. Yeah.
Thanks.
That's
yeah,
legit.
I go there, and then I come back, and I'm like, okay, and I don't get as much done. The most productive Ben wakes up at 8, starts working immediately, and then stays in the dark.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, do you want the lights on? And Ben's like,
Yeah. How often would you say I become like predatory and toxic in our relationship? You can be honest.
I'll flip of a coin.
Yeah, it's like 50-50. Yeah. Like you come down the stairs and what do you see?
Just hear hissing
first
already.
I smell. Yeah. First I smell sour smells. And I know to turn around.
Yeah, that's bastard mode.
Yeah. when Ben's in bastard mode, honestly, I will stay in the closet and eat popcorn so slow because I don't want to make any noise. So I'll just keep it in my mouth until it dissolves, and then I'll swallow it. But like that's my only sustenance. And if Ben hears me crunching,
yeah,
it's over.
I pretty much never find her in the closet. Like I always forget to look there.
Damn it.
The only time I caught
you're in
her
bastard
was,
mode. I imagine you're just fully hooked onto your prey.
Yeah, but sometimes she's my prey, and I'm like, I need someone to sing on this track, and so I'm rummaging through the pantry looking for popcorn. If I don't find it, then I know.
He's throwing spoons.
Yeah.
It's
Well, we have too many fucking spoons. We have too many spoons. We moved into this house.
Everyone was like, I know what to get them.
They gave us their spoons. And then we have so many spoons, and all you need is a knife. And I just wanted to go throw them around in bastard mode. So that was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Ben in bastard mode will open up the dishwasher while it's running. He'll pry it open. It's not supposed to open, but he'll pry it open so it sprays hot water everywhere, floods the kitchen. Then the flood starts coming down the stairs. Guess what? He goes to the basement. He opens up the washer and dryer. They're spinning everywhere. And then he's just shoveling dirt in there.
And what do I always say? I always say, now you clean it up.
This is not officially part of Ben Morning, though, right?
No.
I think it's a side effect of long-term Ben Morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you pass the 2 weeks or so, it starts to go downhill.
You start to develop a very clear bastard mode.
Yeah.
No.
I don't recommend like doing bastard mode, but thanks to that is how I got 160,000 subscribers on YouTube. But if you want to get to 500,000 subscribers, if you want to get to 1 million subscribers, you have to control bastard mode. You can't have bastard mode. It'll only get you so far.
That's true.
You can continue to be an underground artist as we are, and be.
Well, every good thing
close.
comes with downsides, and vice versa. So you know.
Yeah. Well, some bad things come with good sides, but no good things come with downsides. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame you got that messed up Hugo.
Yeah.
What? Wait, what?
It's too bad that you messed
you
that up.
don't know that every good thing doesn't come with downsides, but some bad things come with upsides. It happens from time to time. It's like when you play the pentatonic scale, it's always going to work. When you play the altered scale, sometimes it will work.
Sometimes it stinks.
Yeah, exactly. That's like
sour
Ben's
cream.
bastard mode.
Yeah. Make the basement smell like sewage, but then I go and open up the dishwasher to get rid of the smell and to burn my feet.
Speaking of bastard mode, you released a video on AI recently where you challenged your AI creations, I believe.
That's true. Yeah, I made I've been generating songs Have you tried that yet? Have you been generating songs?
I've not, but I heard about it and I saw a couple videos of people making it. But I thought your concept was interesting, where you try to get something experimental out of it also.
Yeah. I'm most interested in the failure cases, and that's true for all AI art generation stuff. I like the messed up hands. I like the messed up faces. I like all the times where it goes wrong, because those are the things they're failing to copy people. So really, you're getting original art. That's when the AI is showing you something you've never seen before. But when it's doing an amazing job of copying the training set, you just get a bunch of stuff that looks like people made it. And that's kind of boring, because the thing I like about when people make stuff is that people made it. That's like one of the big things I like about it, I think. But of course, there are exceptions
we want to
to this.
relate to art, right? And so,
yeah,
that requires a human touch, of course.
I think there has to be some human somewhere in the pipeline. There is an example from my video that I think is really powerful. Is Images AI is this person on Twitter who I know from Twitter, and they have been doing this AI image generation stuff for so long, way before it was easy. And they've seen the discourse around this evolve from people being like, haha, whoa, that's cool, to this is evil, we need to stop it. And they've kept an even head the whole time. They've kept up with all of the updates and all of the new technology and all the different things people are trying. And there is a pretty rich kind of underground community of people making profound work. It's like philosophical work in contrast to and with the assistance of these AI things. And the example from my video is Images AI did a series called The Most Normal Street in Ohio. And it's so interesting to see a diffusion algorithm that is the AI is trained on many, 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 many images, and basically averages them out based on your prompt to create what you're asking for. And so it's averaging out Ohio and showing you the most average of Ohio. And if you've ever been to Ohio, or those kinds of places in the U.S., which are
I've not.
Most of the U.S. is like Ohio in terms of land, not necessarily population, but space. Well, it's more rural, but yeah, there is a beauty, mystery, darkness, sadness, coldness,
nostalgia too.
Yeah, it's a heavy emotional mix. All the memories we have in these places, all the things we've seen there, and the AI's most average street in Ohio, collected by this human, Images AI, that's their handle name.
Yeah.
This human collected them and then framed them under this concept of, here they are, the most average images of Ohio. That to me is a really profound statement, using this medium of averaged out humanity, basically.
Right. Yeah.
But being Cinema 4D, ultra realistic rendering of Elaine from Seinfeld with big ass and in the style of I don't know, Marvel superhero thing. Well, that to me is not as interesting by a lot, and maybe even annoying.
Sure, yeah. I wonder how long that stuff would stick around also, or how quickly people would get tired of it. Because it feels a bit like a meme in a way of, okay, let's generate a bunch of weird, silly images, and it's got to get old at some point.
Yeah, I think that's the best place for it, is in the land of memes, in the land of emojis.
And I feel that you touched upon this also in your video, but the way you can easily generate songs seems like a great way to kind of share musical memes with people. But I mean, right now it doesn't produce songs that are, at a, let's say, high quality standard, unless you maybe re-recorded them and used them as inspiration or something.
let's get into this a little more. I'm going to share my audio with you, just my audio, and the listeners will hear it through my computer, and that should work really well. I'm going to show you all the generations I've done, and
Yeah, please.
and I just kind of want to talk about what you guys think about it, and also, just that's basically it. So this first one I'm going to show you is I just wrote "good job" over and over and over again and asked for vaporwave.
Okay.
So let's see. That is, that's pretty authentic, right?
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
vaporwave should be a style that works, right?
Yeah.
Vaporwave.
Although it wasn't, it was just 80s, I feel. It wasn't like
Oh,
slowed
really?
down.
It felt vaporwave to me the way it's like compressed in the part that was chosen. But you're right. Like, where's the
I feel
line
that.
between
Yeah, yeah.
vaporwaves?
If
Yeah,
you slowed it down,
80s.
I feel it would be more vaporwavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But you could easily do
Yeah.
that afterwards.
I did
Better
write.
checking on the boy.
That's part of this show is when he barks, we go take care of him. But to be fair, I did put in vaporwave 80s sax. That was the full prompt.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I mean, it's
maybe
pretty
it
solid.
put more weight on 80s. Here, this is "Good Job," just vaporwave. So whatever. I don't know.
Sounds a
Not
bit
that
like stock
interesting.
music.
Yeah. Here's a song to help you remember the names of the modes. So I was thinking maybe there's an educational use for it where it helps you remember musical concepts or math or something.
I
but-
feel like
love
this would
that.
make for a good reel if you re-recorded it and did it yourself.
Yeah. There is definitely for some reason, the first time I listened to generated songs, I got a little spooked, and then now I'm like, yeah, this is just like another thing that exists. At this moment at least, it doesn't seem to be stepping into my area. Like, if Twitch streamers want to make funny songs really fast, with requests from their audience, that's the idea. That's like a great use for this. Like I said, it's the meme territory. That doesn't bother me at all. And I could imagine like hit factories, like, taking AI songs and then like using them, re-recording them with pop stars. And I also feel like if you like the song and humans were involved in any way and people get compensated and there's artists doing stuff, I mean, I think that's fine too.
Sure.
The thing I wouldn't want is for like, I wouldn't want like all of the, I wouldn't want Broadway to do this. I wouldn't want Hollywood to do this. I wouldn't want to like see these like big industries for music be replaced, but I don't think they will be, because I think there's a feel and a sound to this, and there is like a lack of humanity. I just don't think people are going to necessarily want it for those uses. They'll maybe have new uses for this.
I have a question for y'all. If you were like incredibly moved by a song, like moved to tears, and then found out it was completely AI, do you think that would take away from it?
I love that question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think if you reflect on it, I think it would feel a bit odd. Yeah. I think for sure it would do something to you, to your experience of it. It wouldn't just be, okay, sure, I don't care.
But is that
I think it would matter.
like a part of your brain that's like judging yourself for liking something that wasn't made by humans? Because you had the experience.
Sure.
If you look at a bouquet of flowers and you find out they're fake, it's similar, isn't it? Like you thought they were real.
Extra interesting because that's the difference between organic and made by humans.
Right, because it came from nature.
Yeah.
Which is the
way we're used to.
And then made by people, synthesized.
Yeah.
People are the AI in this case.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, it makes me think a little bit of how in live performances there was this period where more and more backing tracks were used in terms of like pop music, and no longer like even rock bands would use like tapes, right, to which they played over, and that would sort of sour the experience because rock music was authentic. And so having that played back by a tape, it's kind of like, it doesn't feel quite right. That's not how it was supposed to be. Our rock music was authentic, and I want it to be performed live for realsies, you know?
It's so funny because, like, the difference between authentic in that case is being played in front of you versus being played earlier by humans. You know, and it's just like, it is the same thing, just a different time.
I guess it's your expectations, though, right? Like,
yeah,
even if it's the same thing in terms of humans making it, the thing you go to a live show for, perhaps, is to see people
be human,
taking a chance, maybe messing up,
right?
And like there's something really cool about seeing people overcome adversity. We all really like to see that, and to some extent, any show is that, because they go out and they have to play everything right and really nail it, and you can feel when it's happening, and then you're like, they nailed it.
Yeah, there's something very endearing. Like, I've seen Sufjan Stevens play live 3 times, and the one time that he forgot lyrics was just, or 4 times. It was just like the most, like, that moment's very vivid in my memory, and like just like kind of laughed, and it was just like, it was like, because it was this Christmas song that had like way too many lyrics, and it was just like, well, this song's ridiculous anyway, kind of vibe. But like, you can never
see that. You can never experience that any other day or any other night besides that one. Those odd circumstances happening.
I suppose taking Sufjan Stevens, like, if you listen to his music, in a sense, you like connect to him as a person, and you like relate to stories he's telling. If you would then hear that, oh, actually, that Sufjan Stevens record that you really like, that one was actually made by AI.
Okay.
That would. You're not relating to a human at that point.
What about when? Okay, I had this experience with Beyonce's Lemonade and like Kendrick Lamar's like To Pimp a Butterfly, where it's like, holy moly, I like want to know more about this person and about their life. But then you see how many people wrote the album, see how many hands are in there, and it's like 80 people, 100 people, and it's just like actually very similar feeling, I think, as like, because we have this automatic human interest like direction when I listen to Sufjan Stevens albums, and I'm like, wow, he has a really interesting life, and he doesn't interview very much. Like, he's got some mystery happening in like around him. That's really intriguing. I'm pulled into that. And then if I found out like even just like one of his songs that I really love was like co-written, half not him, it's a weird feeling. Especially 14 people writing it, right? Like, then you're like, is there even any of him in there at all besides his voice?
I think that in the case of To Pimp a Butterfly, it didn't bother me because the ethos of the album and the sound of the album was meant to sound like larger than life, and it was meant to sound like this massive movement, I feel. And then in the case of any Beyonce album, like, I think part of her gift is being able to keep a clear vision
Yeah.
while many people are collaborating together. Like Beyonce albums feel like Beyonce,
Yeah.
and that's truth, because if you have that many cooks in the kitchen and you don't have the ability to pull your vision through and lead everyone in a solid direction, then you end up with very forgettable artists. And it's like, it's hard to think of an example of that, but I mean, I know it just has happened in the past where I've been working in groups with people and we're making a decision like, what should the album art be? And we end up with since we're voting on it and we're doing like a number system, like this album cover is like a four stars and this album cover is 1 star.
Yeah.
We end up with everyone's 2-star thing. The 2-star thing everyone agreed on, which is out of 4, let's say, or 5. So you end up with like everyone's like, I guess I'll tolerate this. But with really good leadership and really good artistic vision, you end up with something as like unique and distinct as Lemonade, which also had a whole movie behind it. And movies, we know movies are super collaborative.
Right. And there's like a natural hierarchy in that
with
formula.
The director and
that isn't, I feel like, as clear in music to have like so many people and just like to not have like roles defined and like have it be like, I'm showing up as one of 100 people. I wonder what I can contribute to this album, you know?
If the music lands and you really like it and it was made by a whole bunch of people, I think that is not similar to finding out it was made by basically a mathematical formula executing randomly, basically. Like,
it's the mathematical formula is based on so many people.
Well, it's based on so many people in like a really superficial way, where it's like if I made a Sufjan Stevens song just by feeding every Sufjan Stevens song into an algorithm, and then you heard like this, that sounds like Sufjan Stevens. That's got like all these characteristics of Sufjan Stevens, but without any like person's story or emotion. Then like, what's the point?
Yeah.
When you do it for your video, How to Sufjan Stevens for YouTube, you're at the end writing an extremely personal song with all the details, and that comes through, and that's really important. When you take that out, when it's nobody's personal thing, it does feel like we're in a whole different medium that I have not yet found a way to relate to. So I think I would be bummed if I was moved to tears by something and I found out it was generated. I think that would really bother me.
Yeah.
I feel like a similar bumness for me was hearing the Bonnie Raitt, the song that's like, turn down the lights, turn down the bed. I won't sing anymore because of copyright. But that's I Can't Make You Love Me. She didn't write at all. It was written by 2 guys. And it just, that felt like, huh?
Wasn't the story, though, Brandy Carlisle's the story written by her bandmates?
Yes.
I think that is okay.
Me too.
So I guess it's random.
Sure. Depends on the artist.
I think I was a little bit bummed by the Brandy Carlisle thing, but that was like one of the reasons why they worked together.
Yeah.
Because she covered that song and they were like, holy moly. And then they were like, let's all work together.
No.
I think it's different the way it worked out, you know, but.
Well, it's definitely not possible to create a solid rule for how people should enjoy media.
Yeah.
And what should be art and what's not art. And I think we all struggle with ambiguity to some point, to some level in our lives. And we want to create explanations and rules and measurements for all of the variances. And then you can really get into a weird loop trying to be like, well, in this case it's right, in this case it's wrong. For something like this emerging technology. I do think this emerging technology is similar to drum machines because people really had like similar things to say about drum machines. Like, it's replacing drummers, it's fake, it sounds fake, it's wrong. And it's just like people got really creative with drum machines to the point where
It's
they've
entirely different thing at this point.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Beach
evolved
house.
a lot.
Yeah.
So I wonder what artists will do with this stuff if they can get the chance to do it without being stigmatized for
Right.
trying.
I feel also
as
it's a
they're
very
allowed
powerful way to
experiment.
workshop ideas with the speed at which it throws shit together. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Like just even coming up with like let's say like something I've been interested in lately is like writing an album that's more like vibe first, like and not so like lyrics first for me. And
Oh, cool.
like it'd be really interesting to be like, I'm looking for like this really specific genre, like this really specific vibe, and listening to 10 examples and then writing like based on listening to those, because it would like put it in my head, and or even like loosely basing a groove around it or something like that. I feel like would set me off in a really different direction than I've ever, because I would never really like steal a groove from a song,
Right.
you know? So this is kind of a safe way to start in like new territory.
It is very safe compared to listening to actual artists and then accidentally getting a hook from them in your head.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how much more suing is going to happen from artist to artist. I think there will be suing from artists to tech companies a lot more, but like all those lawsuits with all these people being like, oh, you stole my hook. Well, if you could show them the AI generated music that you were influenced by in a folder, and that's really all you listened to, you could objectively prove, see, I got this idea from here and this idea from there and this idea, like, I mean, not totally objectively, because there is this chance that you heard the song they're accusing you of copying, but still, like, this is a strong argument suddenly. And that's an interesting thing. I heard one metal breakdown in one of the generated songs that was like truly inspiring. And yeah, the question is like, if you go and learn that breakdown and you go and teach that to a band and you go and record an actual band playing it, it's by the time you're done with that process, it's going to be a whole other thing.
It really is. Yeah. Because also like everyone plays music in their own way. And even if you're literally playing the same notes, like there's like all the things besides literal notes. It's like how long are the notes? What's the attack like? What's the feel? What's the tone?
Right. Yeah.
That like people add in.
Yeah, for sure.
What little fills did you add? You know? Yeah.
I also wonder, how long is this discussion we're having right now going to be relevant? Like in other words, you know, there's the talking about this technology, and you could say, oh, well, the technology is going to improve a lot, it's going to change a lot. But what if this moment in the history of AI where people are generating art and music is just the tiniest blip, where like our entire reality is just so fundamentally changed by all these other implementations of AI that we're just like,
gosh, I can't believe we were talking about that.
Yeah, like that's like the tiniest.
Yeah.
That's the tiniest detail of this, you know. But I'm not. I don't have any.
It's like how they used to worry about trains. Now they're like, can't believe we thought those were like monsters. You know.
Yeah.
They thought they were monsters. It's funny.
Well, also like cars. Yeah, people were like, people aren't supposed to go that fast. Like your soul can't stay with you. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. I
fly
don't know.
right out of you.
I just think about all the like the people getting fooled by those scam emails that are so poorly written, with these unbelievable amounts of money from like impossible scenarios. Some prince has an estate and you're going to get all this money. You know, people get these scamming emails you couldn't possibly imagine someone believing, and many people fall for it to the point where it's an entire industry in quite a few countries. And so if people fall for that, what are they going to fall for with GPT-4, and what are they going to fall for with everything else? I don't think anybody's going to be that worried, even though all the artists all the musicians, we are like thinking a lot about this music and AI generation stuff. I just think this is going to be small potatoes or whatever compared to like a bajillion other uses for this technology. And if anything, like
I think I
really
told you about
hope-
the Facebook version of this, right? Of people
yeah,
seeing these.
but say it. It's so crazy. Yeah.
Wait, what?
So people are sharing these AI generated images on Facebook, which has a older
yes.
user base.
Yeah.
Put it that way. And they frequently believe these images to be real, where you might have like a very happy smiling puppy on a sled next to a baby on a sled, like sliding down a hill. And they'll be commenting, you know, taking it seriously, like, oh, what a cute
That's so
picture.
cute.
Like, this is
Yeah.
real.
This is crazy. It's so cute. They're both buddies.
How did that happen?
Yeah. What an amazing
buddies.
shot. That's so adorable.
Yeah.
It's just an AI
mean,
image, of course. But, you know. yeah.
Yes.
That's
It's
wild.
interesting to imagine that like our agreed reality is as different as much as it's different from person to person already now. Just if there was no more agreed upon reality, and if truth was basically whether or not something was said by a chatbot at some point, you know, like which can make stuff up, then we're really gonna live in a different kind of cultural mindset about stuff. I think a lot of people will unplug from that. I could see a lot of people being like completely off of the internet, or there being like a separate internet that's a filtered internet or something. But like,
Right.
I just think people will desperately want reality again. The more crazy it gets.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But should we do, since I just had my final word?
I
should we do
would
show
love
and
to know
tell?
your show and tell. Yeah. Let's do it. All right.
Show and tell.
Who wants to go first?
I can do it. Mine is short. So I already mentioned how I've been learning the push a whole lot. Been doing the same with the quad cortex. I'm going to try and go back to some jams. So at quad cortex, if you don't know, it's a guitar modeler thingy, pedal board thingamajig. So I've just been relearning it and setting it up with my Strandberg and getting some really, really nice tones out of it. So I'm really happy about it and excited to play with people again.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
Who are you playing with? How are you going to set up the playing with people part?
That's a secret.
Oh, cool.
That's a secret. I won't tell you. With you, for one, that you know. But
Yes.
Yeah.
We are going to be playing in the summer.
Yep. Which should be good. So I'll be bringing the
Yeah.
quad cortex. I'll have the
Neat.
push ready, and we should be able to do some cool stuff.
You're going to see each other in person for the first time ever.
Yep. I'm going to
Yeah.
sleep in a tent in your mom and your daddy's backyard.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to watch with a flashlight. That's
That's good
wonderful.
stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah.
short and sweet show and tell. It's been fun to learn these and very productive. Oh,
Excellent.
Very nice.
Want to go?
Okay.
who's next?
My thing since last time has been continuing on the how to Sufjan video and just making little steps every day. I currently am in the process of having other people record in the choir and finishing my musical examples, which are All Delighted People, Will Anybody Ever Love Me, Casimir Pulaski Day, and Chicago. Yep.
Nice.
And yeah. And yeah.
So
it's
are
gonna
you
be-
taking from 4 different songs, or
Yes.
how's that work?
Yeah, so I'll just have like little, like basically like one section long parts of each of those songs.
Yeah.
Where explaining like one aspect of what Sufjan is doing in the arrangement, and then
Yeah.
I'll be like, he does this.
Right. We'll have to watch your video for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you one spoiler.
Okay.
I mean, if you listen, you already know all of them. But one of my favorites and like one very, very stylistically Sufjan thing is ending phrases with multiple notes on one word. So at the beginning of All Delighted People, it's like, tomorrow you'll see it through. The clouded out disguises put you in the room. Like that kind of stuff.
Or
Yeah.
something like-
Yeah.
What's that
I've
called?
wandered
Melismatic?
Out alone.
I think so,
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one example.
Those are
Yeah.
so fun. Yeah.
And he has very
Nice.
particular ones that I feel like not many artists like write their own. Like a lot of artists just are like the pentatonic scale. And
Yeah.
yeah.
He's like,
Yeah. And Caroline Polachek is another one I feel like who writes her
Oh, yeah,
own,
yeah. She
and
does
it's
that all
like
the time.
really,
Yeah.
really, really wild riffs that are like, whoa, those are big jumps. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not normal. Yeah.
I'm actually very
So-
curious. Did you know beforehand that you were gonna analyze these 4 songs, or did you take them out of a bigger bunch where like, oh, these 4 are suited for the video, or what's that
So-
decision process like?
So it is like, it's like changed from video to video. I used to just like listen to the artist a lot and then like try to find the things that are the most them, like that make it most distinctly them, and then write the song based on that. And since the Brandi Carlile video, I think I've switched to writing the song first. Or no, since Bon Iver, so just one video ago.
Okay.
To writing the song first, and that way it just like intuitively feels Sufjan to me, and then to
Yeah.
like people I show it to, and then I kind of like either add in things that are important to include, or just like it's part of the song, like those little riff things. Like I was thinking about that, and then it happened in the song, and I was like,
Yeah.
yep. Check.
That's it.
works. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
what do you got left to do? You got the people coming over on Friday.
Yep. People coming over on Friday to do more singing in my choir, and
Nice.
yeah, I got 2 remote people working on it, and yeah, I think those are like the major steps, and then like filming myself like singing the final like vocals.
The final song, but you did the other ones already?
No, like singing
vocals
singing
for
the
all the
vocals.
examples?
Yeah, showing
Cool.
just like having video for the examples. But
Yeah.
I'm currently trying to get my hands on a dang banjo for
Yeah,
for
we
this
gotta get the
video.
banjo.
I gotta get banjo. It's hard to rent a banjo, it turns out.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, like every music store like has banjos for sale, but like they only rent out like music or like band or orchestra
They
instruments.
won't rent them. They
They
just
won't
rent
rent
them.
'em.
Or
They
they don't
won't.
rent them.
They won't.
Yep. Runt.
Runt.
That's funny. That should be something.
But I have another thing, which is me and our friend Ryan Hare are gonna release a 3-song EP. There might be more songs that I don't know about, but we're gonna release 3 songs
It's
that
really
I
cool.
performed on that I'm really proud of. It's like definitely his music like allowed me to sing really differently on them, and we
Oh, cool.
did a photo shoot in our backyard like last weekend with our dogs, and
Yeah.
it was really cute.
Yeah.
And we're like coming up with a music video, so
This is a very
Nice.
good project. It's
Yeah.
very dark, very
Yeah.
dark, sinister.
it's called
Not
Wrecking
sinister.
Glass is the artist name. Yeah.
It's a bit like it's like a bit depressed and industrial.
Yeah.
And really pretty.
Yeah.
It's really
Nice.
Yeah. I'm psyched.
Look forward to hear that.
Yeah. Thanks.
great. My show and tell is I made an experimental video for my second channel. It's called Level. I forget the number.
775.
It's like
12, 8. 1287.
It's a specific. There's a reason I picked the number, so I don't want to get it wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna get you that number, and you're gonna like the way you look. It's number 12877. Yeah. So I made this thing, and it's like just starts you in the middle of this big, long, almost biblical kind of story, and it does reference a biblical story in it. The story of the bald man and the kids from 2 Kings. The bald man is a prophet named Elisha, and
Okay.
he's walking down the street, and these kids go, "Hey, bald man! Hey, you skinhead!" And then he curses them in the name of God. And two bears run out of the forest and kill 42 children by ripping their limbs off. Now, from what I understand, that's a bit of a mistranslation. The kids are actually supposed to be young soldiers. But what I'll say is this. It's funny. And I believe the Bible, the Old Testament, which I'm fairly familiar with, the New Testament, which I'm way less familiar with, because the Old Testament's aka the Torah for Jews. Yeah, well, I would argue that if you read them as comedy, there's a lot of interesting insight to get from it. And I'm going to be reading more Bible stuff with that in mind, because I always learned the Bible as very serious lessons, but
Sure.
it's hard to take those lessons very seriously.
Right.
But if they are more a cautionary tale on how to not be a jerk, basically don't be like God. God's always messing up his creation and so irresponsible. Well, I think that's a pretty cool way to look at it. And so I'm
That's a really
exploring
interesting
these
take. Yeah.
things. Yeah, and so I'm exploring these themes, exploring this stuff, and making this out of order video game cinematic, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get into the story because I don't know it yet. I'll find out the more I go. It's called Subconscious, baby. You gotta look it up.
Dang, so sassy.
So concludes show and tell.
Hell yeah.
Motherfuckers. What's my new thing that I'm allowed to say on air? Do I got something? Oh, yeah. I'm warning you.
I'm warning you.
Oh, yeah. I'm global warning you. Sorry. It's not that funny out loud.
Jesus Christ.
It was funny to us, but that doesn't mean other people like it.
Yeah.
But I do think, there were other word things that are funny.
That's very insensitive to the global warners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. I'm sorry, everyone.
For all of them
Well, that's
watching
all-
the podcast, we didn't mean it. So sorry.
I
Ben
think we should end the
apologizes.
podcast. We should end it.
I'm out of here.
Thank you all for
Hypey-dipey.
watching.
We'll
a good
have
day.
more episodes, but this one's over.
Bye.
Okay?